address from the information I was not coordinating, because you know you're not home, you cannot call maybe police on someone, you cannot do much. Battles za nyumbani kufight ukiwa somewhere else ni ngumu. Hello Littlesilver family, how are you all doing? I hope you're doing fine. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to this episode. Thank you for always supporting me. Thank you for always vibing with me and watching my videos. I really appreciate. I don't take that for granted. And welcome to this video whereby I am going to be talking about the day, my day of hope, confusion, mixed emotions and everything. But first I'll take you all how it started and how it went until that time. So I'm in Dubai, I'm looking for work, I'm doing a couple of interviews, attending interviews, and just as a disclaimer, what you intend to do with this information is entirely up to you. I do not intend to bring out any negativity in the employers or people who are interviewing me. If ever someone who interviewed me came across this video, I am sorry, but it's not the intention. I'm just trying to prepare someone out there who will maybe come and face the same situation and will not know how to act, or they don't know how to take it. And I'm going to be sharing with you some of the interview highlights, like my most weird or interesting interviews I went to. So the first one was it was a walk-in interview, and people were being interviewed at a hotel industry. So it was an hospitality industry. So we got there, we took a line and you hand over your CV, and then I got asked just one question. And I didn't know this question. And then why I found it funny is because I don't know, as an employer I wouldn't do that, because for example, I'll take an example in the aviation industry. I don't know what I wouldn't know what A means if I didn't work in aviation, and if I worked in aviation then I would know A is an initial for alpha. Otherwise, I was taught in school A is for apple, B is for boy, you see. So some terms are only specific to an industry, and you can only know the terms when you work in that industry. Even someone who is an outsider will not be able to research and get these terms like online. So it was a weird question, it was an abbreviation. Yeah, it was an abbreviation. Then I didn't know, so that was it. And I was like, why did I even come to this walk-in interview? But well and good, I had fun. We went. I always make the most positive situation out of anywhere. So we just went with the people we were interviewing with. We took coffee. No, not coffee. We took karak. Karak is like a local tea. Took karak and some bites and went home. So the day was over. So I found that super funny, very funny. Like, if you are interviewing people from outside the country, how will they know internal codes, like, or internal language? So I thought that was a very unfair way of dismissing people. Anyways, thank God I didn't get that job. It was not one of my interests. I was just going so that, these interviews, you just go so that you don't feel guilty. That time I used to have I used to have a Kenyan landlord who would make you feel guilty if you didn't go for interviews, and it would be like, wewe unalala tu, watu wameenda interview wakarudi, umelala tu hadi saa 4. So yeah, and then the second one was someone called me for an interview. It was like a sales versus a front operator, but it had very interest. It was something I was so interested in. It was about TVs, gaming, something gaming. I don't know. So when I got to this office, it was a small office in Internet City, but not as small. There were other employees in Internet City. When you come to Dubai, you realize that we have these cities which are specialized. For example, we have academic city, we have healthcare city, internet city, so production city. All those cities we specialize. Like, you'll have specific companies working there. If it's healthcare city, you'll find hospitals and everything related to healthcare city, which is a very interesting concept. And then when I got to the office, we went to the interview room and someone came in. I assumed that was either the receptionist or the messenger. And then when they walked in, my interviewer said, "Get me some water." So me just sitting there and assuming I could not be the one, because I don't know this office, I don't work here, so I cannot be the one being sent. So I just looked at him and looked at the other person, because I didn't know where the message was directed to. And then the other lady walks out and he's like, "No, not you." So I looked at him and he is looking at me, and I'm like, so I asked him, "Did you mean me?" Then he said, "Yes, get me some water." I totally did not know how to act at that time, but I woke up and followed this other lady, because definitely she knows where to get water. And in the process of her trying to show me where the dispenser is so that I can get water, the man calls and said, "It's okay, I just wanted to know you can get me some water." And in my head, I'm like, how is this related to what I'll be doing? How is it related? Until today, I have never solved that puzzle. And funny bit enough, this man calls me like, because he was like, we are not employing like tomorrow or next month, we are just openly looking for this vacancy. He called me a year later. I'm already in my tiring job. And then asked me, "Did you get somewhere?" And I told him, "Are you hiring?" Because anyway, the salary was so good, so inviting. I would just leave any job in a bit and go get work for him. But I had very little respect for him after that, and I was like, yeah, I know we are in modern slavery, but some things are too much. So he calls me a year later and is like, "Did you get somewhere?" And he tells me the same story, like, okay, we are still open, the position is still open, and if we decide on our finances, I'm gonna let you know. And I was like, "No, don't let me know. I'm already somewhere where I have commitments." I lied. Totally lied. So that was super funny. Tell me how you think about that experience, and if you are an employer, what would someone be trying to test in such a scenario? And in any case, I am a stranger and I'm going for an interview. So definitely if you sent me for something, I will not I'll not refuse. But he was like, some people refuse straight. I don't know where to get water. But I mean, just interviewing. So in this case, you are the smaller person, so you try to make an effort. But anyways, that is crazy. Then the third weird experience is I went to some interview, and when we were seated on the interview waiting lounge, I saw like you can see the similarity. Like I was seated among six people from another nationality. I'll not mention names because I live in a very sensitive country, but I realized I was the only person of a different kind. So I was like, I started having so many questions, and then when I got to the interview, they gave me an exam. I did, which I performed super well. But the employers don't test Kenyans with exams. Don't test Kenyans with exams, because they are going to pass with flying colors, and you'll have nothing to tell them. You'll have no basis to deny them jobs. Okay, so I passed the exam, and then, as always, people are like, oh, we'll get back to you, blah, blah, blah. Those kind of unkind words you always tell people. I'm talking directly to employers. So they're like, oh, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions for us? And I was like, yes. So I asked them how long their company has been operational in UAE, and they said it has been operational for 10 years. And so I was like, oh, that's quite a good time. And so I asked them, I straight ahead and straightforward asked them, do you have any other person like me who is working for your company? And they stammered. They are like, interviews, we don't have, and we have never hired. In my head, I'm like, oh, so I just came to this interview to just make statistics. You're just trying to tell me you call people to come and make statistics. Oh, we interviewed 7 people from Asia, 7 people from Europe, and 3 people from... But out of those, we didn't see anyone from Africa who qualifies. And they didn't give me a definite answer. And it's at this moment I knew that I would never want to be associated with this company. I wouldn't want to work for this company. And I was like, thank you for interviewing me, and left. So it's always important to pick on some things. Sometimes don't pick too much, but some things are really, really they send a very strong message. Starting from the way they say they check the way you're dressed, they say they check the way you walk. When you walk to an interview environment, check the words. Just try to check some things that may interest you, maybe something you might want to ask. I have as well asked people, interviewers in an interview, like, what's your management style? Then someone would wonder, what is she asking? She's just a mere someone looking for work. But yeah, be proud to be able to be recognized. Even if people don't give you that job, yes, they will know you understand the dynamics of being in a multicultural environment, and they will respect you if they hire you, I would say. So don't be afraid to ask questions. It's very important. I don't remember any job interview I have ever walked out without asking questions. It's necessary. Just ask. Even if they don't employ you, they'll remember you for something. Another thing that you should feel free to ask is whether you receive a phone call calling you for an interview or you receive an email. Feel free to ask anything, like feel free to ask how many days you'll be working. Feel free to ask what is the salary. Don't feel it's bad. Like, yep, some people may disqualify you for that, but it's for your own good. Ask the amount of salary you will get paid, and you can decline at any stage. Growing it with the experience I have had for 2 years and what I know now, I am very proud of myself that a few months ago, like 2 months ago, I was able to confidently decline 2 interviews because they didn't serve me. And at the point where I am right now, if something doesn't serve my purpose, doesn't serve my dreams, I don't want it. I don't want it. No, it's either I'm happy at a job now or I'm happy not on that job. So this company calls me because clearly I am not applying. Anything I am doing, maybe if someone gets me a reference, I will go. I'll attend the interview, which will bring us to the big story. I'll attend an interview which I have been referred. I'll attend anything that I feel makes me happy. And this time I wasn't even applying. Then this company calls me and they're like, we have your CV in our database. And I'm like, which database? I put my CV in different databases 2 years ago. Why do you think you should call me 2 years later and tell me you have my CV in your database? For 2 years, you didn't see any importance with my CV. It's now you just feel like, oh, we need to interview a couple of people, so we need to get people to do interviews. So I was sure I didn't apply for this job. So okay. He was like, come to the interview at this time. I was like, I'll confirm. So I requested the company to send me an email for confirmation for interview dates and everything. I thought within myself and I was like, I responded to the email that thank you for offering this opportunity to me, and I appreciate your efforts, but I'll not be able to attend the interview because the job title does not align with what I'm looking for, does not align with my career ambitions at the moment. So thank you, just give the job to a more deserving person. And I sent the email. I felt so good because I have never done this before. I was like, I have grown. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. Similarly, like another company called me. This time I did apply. Then another company called me and they were like, we'd like to invite you for an interview. We received your CV. And I was like, would you be able to send me an email? They were like, no, ma'am, we cannot send you an interview because we are calling a lot of people. I was like, I'll not be able to attend the interview. Because a company that is serious and is doing good recruitment will send you any details via email. They'll not be like, oh, take our WhatsApp number and send us your CV. We'll send you the location. That's not for me at the moment. I'm sorry, that's not for me. I beg. No, I do not. With Dubai interviews as well, I would love to let you know that plan your time, and there are 2 seasons you would want to avoid. Don't come to Dubai during, like, let this period not fall under your job search period. For example, personally, I did make a very big mistake because I came here in end of March, so I stayed in April, and in May, June, Ramadan basically starts, and May, June, July, I don't know, one of those months, it's the Ramadan period, and it's summer as well, so it's too hot, and the company's recruitment is like at surge. So that one, just try to plan the months you come to search. It's advised to come later in the year or beginning in the year. That would be very ideal, and it will increase the chances of you getting a job easier and not having to renew your visa. So just try and plan. Avoid summer, avoid long holidays like the Ramadan, which runs for almost a whole month. Technically that's a silent month. Very few people would call you for an interview. I would say I just felt lucky because I got my job in late June. The story about my big day. So I woke up one morning and I received a call that I was supposed to attend an interview the next day. The reason I say this day is full of hope, confusion, and all mixed reaction is because at that particular point I got that call. It was a reference call and I was tired. I was physically tired. I didn't want to go for interviews anymore. There are those times you just get tired and you're like, I really don't want to keep doing this. You feel like you're just going for interviews to make statistics. You're just going for interviews. You find people who are looking for different category of people. So I was like, I'm tired. But then something weird happened mid last month, like the mid of my last month of my visa. It was a 3-month visa, so basically mid-June or beginning June. So in mid-June I made my last transfer. I was being conned, actually smooth conning. I was being conned by someone in Kenya who came with an investment idea, and I was like, as I look for work, if the work thing doesn't work, I'll still have some money running, I'll have some income. So I was like, okay, instead of just having money lying in my bank, let me invest with this person. So mid-June is the last transfer that I did, and mid-June also I was supposed to get feedback for the business venture because it was an ongoing project since September the previous year. So in mid-June I was supposed to get an update. In short, I was supposed to start getting profits back. And then someone started giving me stories left, right, and center, and that is when I realized I had been conned. So in this scenario, I am really out of my savings. I had very less left, maybe probably some money I could afford ticket back to my country. Then so this made me this situation fixed me in a way to want to accept an offer. It's for the visa, like we all do. When you come and your visit visa expires, you just want some company to hire you. It doesn't matter which company, as long as you get a residency visa and you don't have to worry about visa renewal. So I received a call to attend this interview, which I had been referred by someone, the next day. And then I woke up in this day, was supposed to renew my visa in the coming month. I am not going to get any money from my investment, and I was tight. Then so when I received this call, I was like, okay. So I was supposed to attend the call the next day at 11 a.m. We slept, we were just okay. But then the morning for the interview, I woke up and I just broke down. I broke down. I was just crying my eyes out. I was at a point where I really didn't know what I want. I was luckily enough, I was like, really don't know what I want. I don't want to keep doing this, like going for interviews back and forth. And my business venture has failed, which we had invested with my best friend, and I didn't have more money to keep me for, at least I couldn't survive for the next 6 months. I couldn't. And I knew I was confused. Everyone gets to that point of confusion, and you can relate from my point of view. So I woke up in the morning, I break down, which is not a good idea. It's not an ideal situation to be in when you're going for an interview. But I would say I have very supportive friends. I had my friends with me right there, and I just told her, I'm just tired. I don't want to go to this interview, and I am not going. I'll just stay here, and I don't know, I was just thinking life will figure itself out. But my friend was just able to take me through the situation, those times when you console a friend and they are able to come to terms. So she encouraged me, no, just go for the interview, you never know, any moment can change. But I wasn't convinced. I would say the reason I went to this interview is because I didn't want to disappoint the person who was my reference. I was like, let me just go so that this person doesn't feel bad after all they have done. Like they have sent my CV to this company and I have got an interview and then I don't show up. This is not a good thing. So from my guilty conscience, I was going for this interview so that I don't disappoint this person. It's not for me, it's not for visa or for anything. I was like, okay, let me just go and get done with it. At least I'll not disappoint this person, and I'll just come back home and chill. So I went to the interview. It was at 11. I did the first interview, which was a physical test. Finished the test, passed, and then we were informed that we are going to do another interview at 2. So we had to just hang around the company for the few hours until the next interview session, which was going to be at 2 p.m. And I was like, really? Do I have to go through this? Because my motivation going was like, let me just go, it's just a few hours, let me go get done and come back home, that's it, finished. But then now I have to stay again in this company and wait for another interview. I was mentally tired with these interviews anyways. So we are taught to wait for another interview, and at 2 p.m. we do a face-to-face interview with the people, with the interviewers. We left and went home, and surprisingly enough, they said they would call, and I didn't wait even for 10 days or 2 days. The same day I went for interview, the same day I received a call and I received an offer letter, and I did start visa processing. So it all happened in a flash. So I'm like, what just happened? This beauty not figuring life out. And it's interesting how some things can happen, the coincidences and things like that. So I got the offer letter the same day, and I was supposed to process my visa. And then because I'm more in this confusion, then the company tells me, oh, we have to keep your visa. No, we have to keep your passport. So I called my friend, like, why do they have to keep my passport? But then the only focus was the visa. So that's why I keep telling you that just have focus, know what you want, so that some little things don't get you fixed up. Coming from my own country and coming to Dubai, I thought I am going to have a work-life balance. I thought I could just fly out over the weekend, go somewhere. But then here I was, I had been conned. I got caged. My passport was supposed to be taken by the company. I cannot travel. So these are some of the mistakes I made that I wouldn't want someone to make. The way I know now, I know it's okay to decline interviews. It's okay not to accept an offer that is not favorable to you, and it's okay to know the operations of a company. For example, right now I said whichever other job I want, if the company, I just ask the company, are you going to keep my passport? If they say yes, I'm not accepting any offer, regardless of how much they are going to pay me. There's beauty in having freedom, even if you cannot be able to use that freedom. An example, there's beauty in knowing I can reach my passport from my closet right now, even if I will not be able to use it to fly tomorrow. So it's illegal here to keep employees' passports, but I would say employers have a higher voice, and you as an individual cannot fight companies. You know what I mean. You cannot go fight in companies. I want to keep my passport. And then also there's similar mentality. The other people employed there, their passports are kept. So people would wonder, why is it special for you to have your passport? So it's better to go in an organization that have better cultural practices, better operational and management procedures. Like if the company calls me now and they keep my passport, I said I'm going to decline the offer. I don't want it. If I cannot keep my passport, I don't want that offer. At least if I have a family emergency or I am required to vacate and go to Nairobi tomorrow, I can go. If my company keeps the passport, you have to apply to get the passport, and you have to specify the reason why. This is a government property, like it's a Kenyan property, which is your document. Why should you explain why you should want to have your passport? It's just crazy. But within the 2 years, it has been an experience. I didn't have my passport actually for 2 complete years with a few months. Only I to get my passport in March when I went home for vacation. But you would wonder, then why did I stay? Yes, I stayed. And so many of us and so many of you will come here and stay and get stuck simply because you will get tired, you cannot look for another job. And also the human character of having to hang on the comfort zone. It's so hard to get out of your comfort zone. So you'll be like, oh, I still have my monthly salary. Yes, I can pay my bills. So okay, I will quit next month. I will resign next month. You will not resign. It takes courage to resign. And regardless of how you leave your job, it's good to define going forward. I don't want to experience this thing. I don't want to accept this thing, and know a clear path. Like right now, I know my clear path. I know what I don't want to accept. I know I don't want to be in confused comfort zone as I have been, and it's really a waste of time. It's a waste of resources. It's not worth it. I would say it's not worth it. Although my biggest achievement is I am so much at peace with myself. That was my goal. So as I have always said, it all depends with your goal coming to or going to wherever you go outside of your country. So I feel at peace. I'm actually at my happiest moments. I have not been this happy for the last 10 years. So I hope you take lessons from my stories, and feel free to ask me any questions. If you are watching from Dubai and you're in the same situation, I won't promise I can guide you, I won't promise, but I tell you, follow your gut. That gut tells you to quit that job, just quit. You will always figure out something. It can never be that bad. No. So thank you so much, and thank you for watching, and I hope you share my videos, like, comment and subscribe for this. So this is the end of this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.